Welcome everyone. Thank you for stopping by today. If you don't mind, stop by my other social media accounts and check me out. I want to start today's video out by showing you this little contraption. I've actually made it like a couple years ago. It's just two of those clear drawers that I glued one on top of each other from Dollar Tree. And in one drawer I store my zip ties, and in another drawer I store my little cable tie mounts and some rubber bands. And then I hot glued a dowel on top. I use this whole thing for when I make my wreaths, just a little quick supply area. So it's pretty efficient. I love that I made it. It's very useful. So I wanted to start the wreath off today by just cutting off a couple of 14-inch tails, and then I'm going to show you how I dovetail those. It's real quick and easy, and you don't want to miss out on doing these when you're making your tails for your wreaths. I am joining in to this challenge today that is hosted by Becky and Leah, and you're basically just creating a wreath or upcycling one. So check out the playlist below and watch all the videos. I cannot wait to see what everybody's creating. So the other ribbon that I got here is I've only dovetailed one side, and you'll see why I did this, but those are 14 inches long as well. I always do my ribbon tails at 14 inches unless I have like a smaller wreath that I'm doing. So I'm trying to show you here on this silver Dollar Tree wreath frame the crossbar section, or the crossbars, and in between those two crossbars is a section. The outer two rings I attached 2 pipe cleaners, and the inner 2 rings I attached 1 pipe cleaner. So there's a total of 6 sections with 3 of the pipe cleaners. So that gives you a total of 18 pipe cleaners going around. Now I do like to push all the pipe cleaners in towards the center of the wreath, and the reason why is my deco mesh gets caught up in it real easy if I don't. So I like to just get the section out that I'm using at a time. It makes it a lot easier and more efficient for me. Here I've got my 21-inch deco mesh. It is a navy blue with the silver stripes going on. It is so pretty. If you watch my videos and watch me make any wreaths, you know I love to get my product, my deco mesh ribbons and stuff. I like to get those from Craft Outlet. Now the sign that I'm going to use I did get from Hobby Lobby. It was just like a wood or MDF type, and I actually hand painted it and then just made it into a Dallas Cowboy football. And I knew when I made it I was going to use it as a centerpiece for this wreath. So I'll link that video up there in the picture somewhere, and then you can definitely take a look and see how I made it. So I always start off with the point that I attached the deco mesh to a crossbar, and I measure out 10-inch poofs. I do a 10-inch poof the entire wreath, and it's from one point to the next point. So from this chenille stem I measure it 10 inches and I make a poof and I add it to the next chenille stem. Doesn't matter if you start in the center of the wreath or if you start on the outside of the wreath like I'm doing. It's just your preference. I prefer to start on the outside and work my way in. I've tried the other way. I just, I don't know. I get confused, and it takes me longer to make a wreath that way. But sometimes I try different things to do to see if I could speed up my process or not. But here I'm just showing you how pretty that deco mesh is. And I really hate the fact that you can't tell as well in the video as you can in person. So I've gone all around the outer ring, and I'm trying to show you we're back at where we had our starting point. So I'm just measuring at another 10 inches, and I jump to the very top to the first pipe cleaner on my right, and I poof everything out. And I mean, as you can tell, you can't see any of the parts where you zip tied the deco mesh down. All that gets hidden. So here again, I've gone all the way around and completed my inner ring, and here I'm just showing you at that point of the crossbar is where I'm going to end the deco mesh, and I'm just gonna zip tie it on there just like I did at the beginning, and then I'll just cut it off with the deco mesh with some scissors. Now what you'll see, and I'll show you here in just a second, is on this very last one, I like to do is I like to look at that last section and try to make sure that that pipe cleaner is in the middle of that section, and that way I know it's not looking a little crazy or whatever. I don't know, maybe it doesn't make a difference, I don't know. I just that's just for my own sanity check, and it's just something I always do. But yeah, most definitely, again, this is everybody's got to find their own method of doing things. I mean, like, you guys can watch people make wreaths all day long, and you can watch a couple of other people, other wreath makers make it, and once you start getting more comfortable with it, you just gotta find your own little knack of doing things. So here's where I will add in the link to the other video. And let me tell you, so I don't know, this is how I always attach zip ties to all of my holy macaroni. Okay, all my signs that I'm going to put on a wreath. And let me tell you, I added the super glue, and then I will show you that I will go around the whole cable mount and add hot glue. And I'll be honest, when I was done, and so you won't see this at the end of the video, but when I was done with this and I was making an adjustment, straightening out the sign, that sign popped plumb off of those pipe cleaners. And I tried and tried to fix it, but I think it was because I painted it, and it didn't stick very well. So what I ended up doing was just taking those, I just didn't even use the mounts, and I got me some pipe cleaners, and I actually used my staple gun and mounted those on there that way, which it works out a lot better. I used to do that a lot, use the staple gun, but there's some wood that's just not as thick, so I'd start, especially using Dollar Tree signs. We all know you cannot use a staple gun on that unless you add like a Jenga block, glue a Jenga block down to it, and then you can use a staple gun to attach your pipe cleaner to the Jenga block. But that's doing a little too much, and so that's why I started using the mounts. But I just have to remember that when I paint something on the back, that I just have to actually use some staples instead. So once I get that on, I set it aside, and then I am actually going to start with these 20-inch cruffles. Y'all have seen me do this 100 times. You know, this is my favorite method. So this is 20 inches, and I roll it up a couple of times on each side, and then I will just use my fingers in the middle to walk it up to make the ruffle part. Just as you see there. And then I'm just showing you what it kind of looks like. And so, you know, a lot of people like to use this method because it hides the portion of the deco mesh that you cut off. And if you've ever worked with deco mesh, you know that it can start fraying and looking kind of ugly and nasty. But I tell you, I use the craft outlet a lot, and I don't get that fraying. If there is some fraying, it's like oddball pieces here and there. I mean, so it's definitely not like using Dollar Tree mesh. I mean, once I started using craft outlet, that has spoiled me rotten. I don't ever want to use the Dollar Tree mesh to make wreaths or anything. If I do, it's just for kind of embellishments. It will not be to make an entire wreath. But what is it? Hobby Lobby, I will purchase their 21-inch deco mesh all the time. I don't have a problem with it, but a lot of their 10-inch deco mesh that's not like a cloth or like a burlap type of material, I just won't buy there anymore because it frays quite a bit. And yeah, so and the prices at Craft Outlet are very comparable, and they've got so many more designs. And I mean, I tell people all the time that they are running they always have a sale going all the time, and it's always a bunch of stuff. So what I like to do is, even on an off season, like now, if I look and they have some really cute ribbon that's for Easter, I'll purchase it, you know, because I mean, you could really get 10-yard rolls, $4, $5. I mean, a lot cheaper and a lot better quality than like a lot of the ribbon that you can get at Dollar Tree or definitely any of the dollar stores. And then it's even, to me, a lot better quality than some of the Hobby Lobby ribbon. But hey, just go check it out. You won't be disappointed. So I finally got the sign on, and something was bugging me on this, but I go ahead and put all the tails on it. No, it was still bugging me afterwards, and that's how I accidentally popped the sign off. But isn't that little football so stinking cute? So here I've got this little blue and silver ribbon with the football, and that's the one that I dovetailed on both ends. And I'm just gonna actually make a little V shape like I normally would, and place it at the top of the pipe cleaner. Now I always like to do 2 or 3 twists whenever I put anything into a pipe cleaner, just to make sure it's tight enough. And I'm trying to make sure here that that I'm in the camera so y'all can see me. So I take the end of the other star ribbon, the end that is not doesn't have the dovetail, and I fold it behind it to make about a 4-inch loop. And then I just add that right on top of the other ribbon. And then I normally will do a curl with the extra pipe cleaners, but this time when I do the ribbon this way, I always end up folding it back behind the ribbons. And that way you've got this cute little bundle of ribbon. And I could tell here that I just can't really, I don't think you guys can see it really well. And so I just go ahead and we'll do another one up here. Hopefully you guys will have a better view. Now I do want to say there are, for like these little wood pieces, they've got helmets, and I've done a helmet before. I've done a Dallas Cowboy helmet. I mean, you can do whatever football team you want, whether it's college, NFL. I mean, there's just so much stuff that y'all can do. I personally am not a football person. I'll watch basketball, but I can't get into football. I think it's because there's too many breaks. But the rest of my family just loves football, so I wanted to do a little bit different wreath, and so I decided that since it's fall, I would do a fall football wreath. So this is the end result. I want to thank you all so very much for spending time with me today. I really appreciate your company. I appreciate all your support, and I hope that each and every one of you has a very blessed day.